welcome to another episode. Today is the second episode of a mini series where we are doing fan club only podcast, and today is a Chelsea one. We have the Chelsea crew here, full effect. As always, I have my Agbero man with me, my regular guest, Idris. I like that hat. Hakeem is joining us for the first time. Hakeem, Hakeem is also known as Fari. Am I?
No, Fari Hara. That's my company's name. Fari Hara. Yeah.
Fari Hara. And he has a company, Fari Hara. So yeah, shouting that out a little bit. Joshua has been on once, and thanks for coming on, Joshua.
Thank you for having me.
So today, talking about a timeless topic, we'll be doing the all-time Chelsea of the English Premier League, which started in 1992. Hakeem will start. Hakeem, give us your all-time Chelsea 11.
All-time Chelsea 11. Do you want me to start with players first or manager?
Who's your manager?
Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
The goalie, Czech. Defenders. Okay. So it's a 4-4-2. Using 4-4-2. Goalie is Czech.
Okay.
Defenders, Terry, Ashley Cole, Desailly, and Ivanovic. Now, the midfield, Hazard, Lampard, Makelele, and Robben. And on the forward, Costa and Drogba.
Interesting. So you're playing 4-4-2. Okay.
Yes.
The bench.
The bench. We have Asu Bank. We have David Luiz. We have for the bench, the two strikers are Asu Bank and Zola. For the defense is David Luiz and Aspi. And for the midfield, we've got Kante and Sean Wright-Phillips.
Who was your keeper? Did you say your keeper?
Oh, the keeper is Kepa on the bench.
Yeah. Coach Kepa. The coach. Unofficial coach. Okay.
Can I rebut you right now? Or do I wait?
No. Idris, you are not punctual. So the people that are punctual.
Can I rebut to what he said?
Punishment. Not yet. Let Joshua talk.
For the choices that you made, I will go with Ivanovic.
So which one do you disagree with? Which player?
Ivanovic.
Okay.
I don't know why Ivanovic, out of the solid defenders that we've had over the years, I don't believe that he should be there.
So who would be your option instead of him?
Instead of him, I can go with Paulo Ferreira. I can go with Ricardo Cavallo.
Choose one. Just choose one. Cavallo, okay. That's fine. Just choose one. Idris.
One, I will go with Ricardo Cavallo. Because Ricardo Cavallo, he was originally a central defender, but he can also play on the right wing.
Yeah, right back.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your rebuttal, Idris?
Mine was Kepa. Why Kepa?
Kepa should not be on the bench.
He should not even be on that
team. So who's on your bench?
As much as we hate him, Courtois is better than him. And in fact, I'll give you another stat that is weird. Hilario only played a second and had a better stat.
Okay. Can I?
Who is your child? Okay, you want to respond to those two rebuttals?
Yes. So let me first start with Ivanovic. You see, Ivanovic was among the Chelsea. Because when I was making this list, you got to think about there are players on Chelsea's team that I feel like they were football oriented, and there are players that are also football oriented and also fought for the crest. The seriousness, the level. Ivanovic was among the players that will step in. It wasn't only playing, to win the game. He was playing for the crest. So for me, it's that is where the productivity, the determination is key in me selecting Ivanovic.
Okay, so Kepa, can you respond to the Kepa criticism?
Okay, so with the Kepa, the only reason why I did not put Courtois. Courtois is not my type of Chelsea player. Courtois was not. He wasn't stable. He wasn't a loyal goalie. So for that reason alone, I'm a diehard Chelsea fan. For that reason alone, it will not make my top 18 or even top 24.
That's fine. That's your choice. That's your choice. Okay. Good one. Joshua, now we got the hang of Joshua. Give your list.
Okay, my coach, like I said before, is gonna be Jose Mourinho. Okay. I mean, as you all know, he's been the most prestigious Chelsea coach over the years, and he's earned it. My goalkeeper would be Petr Cech.
What's your formation?
4-3-3.
Okay.
My goalie is gonna be Petr Cech, and sub goalie is gonna be Thibaut Courtois.
Okay.
And for the defenders, I'm gonna go with Marcel Desailly as the CB, together with JT, no other person but JT on the left.
Captain leader, legend, cheetah.
Exactly.
You have to add the cheetah at the end of the cheetah.
And then I'm gonna go with Ashley Cole on the left back.
You mean Cashley Cole? Is that what they call him? Cashley Cole. He left for money. He left Arsenal for money. Go ahead.
On the right back, like I said before during the report of Hakeem's choice, I'm gonna go with Ricardo Cavallo. Like I said, he's a CB, but I would deploy him on that right back position because I feel that he was very valuable to us when he was playing. And sometimes he was also deployed to that right back position by Jose. So for that reason, I'll play him there. For the subs, for the defenders, I would go with Paulo Ferreira. Paulo Ferreira was versatile to an extent, just like Aspi right now. Then the other person for my defenders would be Celestine Babayaro. I know that's a choice, but I actually became a Chelsea fan because of Celestine Babayaro. And then for the midfielders, I will go with Makelele, obviously. I mean, it's a choice between N'Golo and Makelele, but for me, Makelele has earned it because so far, N'Golo hasn't had that longevity that Makelele had. So that's the only reason why I'll go with Makelele. And then for the remaining midfielders, I will go with Lampard, obviously, Chelsea legend. Yeah. Then I am torn between the choice of Dennis White and RDM, Roberto Di Matteo. Dennis White kind of has the same style with RDM, but Dennis White was a Chelsea captain for a while. I only saw the twilight of his career, of his Chelsea career. He was very versatile. He can score goals, he can assist. So I'll go with Dennis White. And then for the midfielders, I will go with N'Golo Kante and RDM. Okay. Then for the forward, I'll go with Eden Hazard, obviously, my favorite Chelsea player.
I would have been shocked. I would have been shocked if you didn't put in Hazard.
Eden Hazard, then the On the right wing, I'll go with Zola. I mean, these two guys have a lot of similarities in their style of play. They can dribble. They love having space, to play, and they can make good passes and score good goals. So I will go with Eden Hazard and Zola. And then right there, the main man, no other person but the King Didier. So that completes the list. And for the subs, for the forward, I will go with Jimmy Floyd, Hazelbank. And I will also go with Florent Malouda.
Okay.
Yep.
Who was your keeper? I don't remember.
My
keeper, yes.
Top keeper is gonna be Thibaut Courtois.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Idris, any reporter?
Actually, no. It's a good squad.
Okay.
I think it's a very good squad. The only question I have though is, was Dennis Wise not a left back?
No.
I think you put him as a midfield. He's a left back.
Dennis Wise wasn't a left back. It wasn't a left back. No. Graham Lasso was the left back.
Graham Lasso, thank you. Sorry.
Graham Lasso.
All white people don't look alike. Idris, all white.
You actually fixed my list for me because I was mistaken.
Hakeem.
I've got a lot, but I'll just drill it. Yeah. So before the rebuttal, I'll ask Josh. Yeah, you're starting 11. Aside from the bench, is that a winning 11 or emotionally driven 11?
This guy.
Starting 11, right?
So they're emotionally driven, or you will put those 11 as like a winning 11?
It's a winning 11. It's a solid team. What are you talking about?
So if it's a winning 11, it's easy to really poke into what you've said. The coach that you've matched with. I'll say coach. I'll say the coach. Though I have questions with your selection. The coach that you selected, you said your formation will be 4-3-3. Our uncle, Mourinho, it will never work.
Play 4-3-3.
So that in itself.
Why are you saying it will never work?
No, he will never play 4-3-3 is what he's saying. Not that it will never work.
So
the formation is solid.
I'm surprised.
Has Mourinho never played?
Actually, I'm on Joshua. Mourinho was actually the person that started 4-3-3 in the Premiership. He's the one that started it.
So what I'm talking about, what I'm talking about with your selection, using those selections, Mourinho will never play 4-3-3 with those selections with Babayaro on the left. It will never work.
Okay.
It's a weak selection for 4-3-3 for Mourinho to use.
Is there any weak link in that selection?
Oh, so I'm supposed to only choose one. But I can list them.
That's fine.
Aaron is a sub. Ashley Cole was my selection in left back. Okay.
Time out.
We can take this offline. We can take it offline.
I agree. We can take it offline. Idris, give us your list.
My list is
your coach first. Start with your coach. Sorry, Mauricio Sarri, right?
Yeah, my coach is Jose Mourinho.
So please.
I thought it's Sarri you put.
Sorry, one thing I got from Josh. Please, when you're making your list, can you first give us your starting 11? Okay. So we know what the starting, then we know what the bench.
Okay. So my starting 11, my formation is 4-4-2. My coach is Jose Mourinho. The goalkeeper is Piszczek. The center back is John Terry and Marcel Desailly. The left back is Ashley Cole. My right back is Ivanovic. My midfield is Makalele, Gianfranco Zola, Frank Lampard, and Eden Hazard. In the diamond formation 4-4-2. My attackers are Didier Drogba and Edio Gudjonsen. playing to support him. My bench.
Okay. Your bench.
My bench supporting goalie. Number 2 goal is Carlo Cudicini, one of the all-time greats in Chelsea. My defenders, Ricardo Carvalho, because he can do the same thing Ivanovic can do, play on the right back, play in the center mid, same thing Aspley does. Carvalho has done that too. Graham Lesso, definitely. I want to be biased with Celestine Babayo, but Graham Lesso was one that trained John Terry, Marcel Desailly, and was a captain of Chelsea on the left back. Midfield, Michael Ballack and N'Golo Kante. Forward, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and Diego Costa.
Okay, interesting. Hakeem.
Okay. I love the lineup. I love the formation. I love the coach. My only concern, because it seems like we have the same defenders and all of that. My only concern, honestly, will be benching Costa for Gudjonsen. I can understand why you select that, because Gudjonsen can also play. It was a midfielder stroke striker. So the support, but
supporting striker. He was one of the best supporting strikers we ever had.
Yeah, but in terms of productivity, using him as a striker, in terms of productivity, I will put Costa ahead of him. I will never bench Costa for Gudjonsen in terms of productivity. So that will be my only rebuttal.
Okay, good. Joshua?
To be candid, I already did the same rebuttal for Hakeem, the Ivanovic stuff. But every other player is a fair choice to me. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You don't always have to have a brother. You don't. Today I'll just quickly say mine. Even though as an outsider, is that word. Neutral outsider. Obviously, Jose Mourinho. His best times, were Chelsea's greatest times. Period. Fell in that period he was in Chelsea. My 11 is Peter 118. So just be sure, because I'm an outsider. I don't have power to be using my computing brain and thinking of Chelsea. I'm just using 11, and that's all I'm doing. So check. I'm playing 4-2-3-1. Check. Aspileta on the right, Terry and Cavallos, Kashiko on the left. My 2 holding, well, not holding, but one was 6. Makelele, Lampard will be kind of, but we will play deeper with Makelele. So Lampard and Makelele. My 10 Zola on the left is Hazard. On the other side is Robben and Didier Drogba. I think that team is very hard to beat. Moving on to the next question, and I'll start with Hakeem this time. I'll start with Idris. Idris, give me your best game of the season. For this, it can be Chelsea, can be non-Chelsea. Doesn't matter to me.
For me, I'll pick a Chelsea game. Maybe because I'm biased. It was the Liverpool versus Chelsea game.
Yeah, I'll have to be biased.
Sorry? Oh yeah, I'm allowed to be biased. Yeah, the Liverpool and Chelsea game in the FA Cup. A lot of things just clicked in that game. There was just a lot of eye-opening, I would say. I know most of my criticisms in the forum will come across like it's versus Kovacic versus Jorginho. It was just there was something that had been plaguing us from Sarri's time, which is usually our defensive transition that kind of carried on into Lampard's time. And maybe I kept playing some clips back and I kept hearing things like defensive phase. And we'll bash Sarri and say, what do you mean by defensive phase? Then Lampard will not criticize a specific player. He will just say the whole team has to defend as a unit. Then there was a time I went crazy. I think I bombarded Hakeem's phone with pictures and screenshots. And I know Josh doesn't appreciate that. He was just laughing at me like, what are you talking about? Because I was speaking of Kovacic and Jorginho. But it was like that transition was something that was killing us for the amount of quality football we played. So I would say that was the last game that helped me think about, it's not like those players were bad players. It was just, look at this kid coming in Billy Gilmore. Somehow Barkley becomes the best thing since sliced bread. And we do just points out we do have good players. We just have probably found the reason why we have issues in our transition against a very tough opponent.
Okay. Good point. Good point. Idris, what's your best game on season? Sorry, I said Idris. Joshua,
Me?
tell me your
Okay,
best
Josh.
game of season.
Josh? Okay.
Joshua.
I think I'll go with the Man City Wolves game. Was it Wolves?
Okay.
Adama Traore.
Okay.
It's Wolves, right?
Which one? Which one though? You know they play twice. Which one? Is it the set one that Adama Traore scored 2 goals? Is it that one you're talking about?
The one that had a red card
Okay.
in the game, and
Yeah. Okay, that was the second one.
Now Wolves got back into the game, and this dude, what's his name? Jimenez scored the second goal, or was it the first goal? I can't remember. But that was a very, very entertaining game. That was a end-to-end game. I think City got a red card early in the first half, and still went up 2-0. And second half, I think it was second half that Adama Traore was brought in, and he completely changed the whole game with his pace, passing power. So I think I'll go with that game because it's the most exciting, entertaining game of the season for me.
That you watched.
Yeah.
Good one. That's a good game. I've had a game 3-2. That was a very good game. Hakeem, what's your
so this is it was hard for me to pick. There are 2 games, but I was able to narrow it down. The first one is Chelsea versus Ajax, the 4-4 game. I picked Chelsea versus Everton over it. The way Chelsea played in that game, the type of Chelsea that I want to see is what I saw in that game, where the old players and the new players were, the combination between the old and the new players was incredible. Case in point, the way this Uncle Pedro played in that game, it reminded me of Lampard. Exactly the way Lampard used to play was what I saw. And, for the young guys, I'll use Mason Mount as an example. If you look at that first goal, Mason Mount had no business scoring that goal, but you could see the energy, the shared determination of the Chelsea boys in that game. So that will be my favorite game of the season so far.
I have a comment. So is it like the best game in EPL, or is it the best game overall in all competitions?
I said overall. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have overall. Whatever is the best game to you that you have seen?
My choice was similar to EPL, though. If I were to best game overall in all competitions, I'll probably go with Hakeem's choice.
Same here.
Chelsea Ajax.
Okay. The Chelsea Ajax game. I still haven't seen that game actually. Funny enough, I think that game the day I was like stuck with me in all meetings.
Yeah.
That game was the highlights.
That game was
wild. I'm not seeing the highlights.
That's a wild.
It's like a high blood pressure. It'd be going like this.
Yeah. I still haven't seen that. Interesting. So now we go to football retirement. Like I said, this is like an O'Day to the whole thing that's been going on. Last Dance, all the football requirements that have been going on this week, which was I guess a tribute to Michael Jordan and MJ. So I'll start with Idris now. Tell me your 2 football that meant so much to you. I guess that's probably the best way to say it. To you, one Chelsea and one non-Chelsea.
Yeah, for me, the 2 I picked, though a few, but the 2 I picked was for Chelsea, John Terry. It was, I think him leaving was kind of like almost like the last guard. It was like, it's done. Like, it's kind of like that spine, that whole representative.
Changing of guard.
Yeah, changing of guard. It was like, once JT left, that was it. Like, who was the captain? Who was that person that normally as Chelsea fans, we always say was never in doubt. Even if we played 10 men behind the ball, like never in doubt. Even when Barcelona would come, that we know that they were the most dangerous Barcelona team ever that won everything. As a Chelsea fan, we're like, any which way, something will happen here for us. So him leaving, it was like, that whole squad, that set was gone. One that was not Chelsea was Sir Alex Ferguson. Just to take a step back and just be like, man, what this man did, how they wanted him fired, how long it took him to build this team, what he turned this team to, and that the man freaking won the league with the likes of Jemba, the likes of Anderson, the likes of Carrick. I mean, I know you hype Carrick, but that guy won the league with those guys. You just sit down and you're like, man, you know, like he was a legend. Like the man was, and he always changed. He always adapted. Like when he went head to head with other coaches during his time, Wenger, when even Mourinho came into the league, like this man always found a way to be relevant, to compete. To me, he's a genius. He's one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too. Greatest manager. Those are good ones.
Coaches.
Joshua, tell us your. Say what?
I said, Sir Alex should be the GOAT of coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I would say
he is, I think, among them.
Yeah, for me, I would go with same John Terry, JT, captain, leader, legend. I mean, we all know him.
Add the last sentence.
We refuse.
Captain, leader, legend, cheater. Add that cheater.
We all know him. We all know that he put his life on the line, literally, for the team. So, like Idris said, he left. It was like the last batch of leadership. You know, there was no player you could look at in Chelsea and say, okay, this is worthy of that caliber of leadership that JT, Lampard, Droggs, and the other big players provided for the team. So I would definitely go with JT for that one, for the Chelsea choice. For the outside Chelsea, I would say Zizou. Zizou would be my choice. Zidane. So there are some players, you know.
Retirement, the head boss retirement.
I was going to say, was it retirement? I know. I was going to ask.
That head boss was mythical though. It was mythical though. But yeah, it was interesting to retire like that. It went out like a bad man, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I mean, the way you look at it, there are some players that you feel they'll play forever, right?
Yeah.
So like when he left, I was like, I mean, I wish this guy could be, you know, for a lot longer. And we all know who Zizou is. We all know his dazzling style of play. When Zizou played, we always said then in those days that Zizou's flukes were like, Zizou's mistakes were like real, that he, you know, like sort of like someone planned to do those things, you know. So the way he handled the ball, the way he played, the way he did things, amazing things on the field of play. So I'll go with Zizou as my second choice. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, player of all time too. So Hakeem.
So for me, I think for Chelsea, there hasn't been any, you know, retirement that's made any big impact, that's had any big impact on me. Cause that JT, I was expecting it and all of that. But I'll say Drogba. The only reason I say Drogba is when he first left, you know, like he really left a good impact. I wouldn't say great impact, you know, because after we won the Champions League, you know, I think it was the first player that went to create like an NBA-like ring for, you know, for the players and everything. So that definitely, you know, and you could tell that it was an emotional win. So I think that was the only time that I felt like, man, you know, a great guy. He was leaving the team. So that's for the Chelsea. I mean, he did come back, so I don't know whether we can classify that as retirement. The non-Chelsea one, I'll say this guy from Bayern, the coach, Enkes.
Okay.
Yeah, when he left, you know, like it was more of, you know, when as an artist, during the concerts, you've like performed so great. The fans, everybody is still jumping up. They're expecting the last song, and you just drop the mic. That was what that felt like, And of course, the man came back and still won something. So yeah, I think that's that speaks,
volume.
Yeah, volume to me.
Okay. For me, I'll just say my as like not. For me, I'll choose one for my team for sure. For me, actually, is Eric Cantona, and I say this because I Manchester in '96, if I remember.
You like Weirys, you like Agberos. Go ahead.
I'll tell you why Eric Cantona spoke so much to me, and because two things. Eric Cantona is because the reason I support Manchester United, and towards the end of his career, I started from '96, he retired in '98. So that's the first thing, and he retired his final season that we eventually won. He had suffered so much with us to try and win Champions League, and the year he retired, we now won the treble. So that's why. But the most important reason why that was very important to me was his key. Eric Cantona is probably one of the most honest footballers you can ever see anywhere. Like he says, man, he doesn't care. When he was, he said it clearly. He's like, I'm retiring because I lost my passion for football. Like most footballers will never to a stadium where they want so much their stage, because football, the stadium was the stage, ultra stage, and he came and said, I'm retiring. Not because some people say some other things like, oh, I want to do some things. Like he said, he has lost football. So I was kind of sad. Somebody that gave me so much joy was leaving football because he lost his passion. I think he was going through some depression then. He said he lost passion for football, and he did that run, and I was almost in tears watching that guy. Like this guy, and that same year we now. Throughout our journey to winning treble, I kept thinking about Cantona. Like, so Cantona, I just missed it. Like football sometimes can be, I feel like football sometimes can be luck. So that was bad, ill luck. I stayed one more year, he would have been part of that treble winning season, and that would have crowned everything he did for us. Now, non-Chelsea one. I said Chelsea. I take that back. But the non-Manchester United one, the non-Manchester United one is Marco van Basten, and this one was. I remember the retirement after to be very clear, because obviously he retired like in 91, 92. He had that terrible injury. He never come back from it. He kept coming back.
Or a forced retirement?
It was a forced retirement. And the reason why is, again, I always go to the moments. I'm not thinking of the moments. I remember that his retirement, he's saying goodbye to the San Siro in Italy. And I was like, probably 13. I was a teenager watching that thing on TV then. And they showed that the whole stadium was filled to capacity. Literally half of the stadium was crying. It was very emotional, and they showed Capello on the. I don't remember Capello, man. He's known to be like a strict man. That was the first and only time I saw Capello crying, and people were holding Fabio like, yeah, Don Fabio. Because that time they used to call it Don Fabio. It was like an emotionless, strict man, and he was crying because Van Basten was obviously he had a bad ankle injury. He tried to come back to record again. So for me, that was very personal. I was like, man. This guy, I loved Van Basten. As a kid, Van Basten was the first player. I remember being a 5-6-year-old watching Van Basten in Euro 88, and I was like, as a kid, and I asked, like, who is this guy? This guy was scoring goals from like volleys, as if it was just. That's the first player I was Marco Van Basten. So that's my attachment to him. So for me, those are my. So to wrap up this interesting pod, I'm going to go around and I'll start with Idris with this. Tell me who has been your most disappointing and who has been Chelsea's player of this season, the truncated version, and your most disappointed.
Okay, there was like most disappointing or
no, most disappointing player and your player of the season.
You guys will be surprised. Most disappointing, you guys will be surprised. I think I know the answer, and you guys will be surprised. Go ahead, Idris.
Honestly, most I'll start with most impressive player of the season for Chelsea. For me, I'm stuck in between. I'm seriously stuck in between Reece James, because he's young and how he broke in and how he gave us hope, right? And he's not the best, but I guess and Tammy Abraham, honestly. Everybody said he was a championship player and they didn't expect him to bag 30 goals. He still has a lot to learn. The kid has a lot to learn. So I'm kind of stuck in between those two, but I'll go with Tammy because Tammy banked a lot of goals and he's a diehard player. Maybe I'm biased against the fact that he's a Nigerian boy too. Worse.
It's good sometimes.
Worse.
I'm waiting.
Honestly, I know you guys hear me talk about Kovacic and it's not Kovacic. It's Marco Alonso. I am confused.
No, I said it. I was going to say Alonso. You threw out the season.
It was Marco Alonso because I've never seen a bipolar player like that in my life. Like the guy, and nothing against mental. I'm a huge, strong proponent of mental wellness awareness. But that guy, man, my goodness. Do we just admit he's a wing back and he's not a left back and just accept it as Chelsea fans that this guy is not a left back? We need left back because we talked about Graham Lesso, we talked about Babayaro, we've talked about Ashley Cole. This guy is nowhere close to being any of those guys. But then again, I'm torn between him and Willian. I'm torn between him and Willian. Who has been the shittiest player of the season. I'm torn, and I know Willian's stats don't look like that, but I'll give. Wait, Hakeem, I remember this conversation you and I had, Hakeem, and if I should go with what we discussed that night, Alonso has performed better in stats ratios to Uncle Willian. So if I want to be fair, Willian has been the worst player. Him and Pedro, Willian has been the worst player for me this season.
Okay, no problem. Joshua.
My best player for the season, obviously, is an opinion that not only me share, but a wide group of Chelsea fans, except some very few people here.
Josh, say it to your chest.
Yeah, so obviously Kovacic, the guy has really, really improved this season. The way he plays, the way he creates, the way he passes. If you watched last season, you would see that those elements of the game where he has improved this season were not there last season. Like creativity, pushing the ball forward, trying to look for spaces and make deadly passes. But unfortunately, we don't have capable attackers that can finish those passes. So the guy has really, really improved, and I would tip him to be the best player of the season. Yeah. For my worst player, I will go with Kepa, the keeper. He has been.
That's a good shot.
And I was really, really glad when Lampard started benching him because he was, I don't know, some people said he had some private issues with family, with his wife or something, but that was affecting him on the field of play. But I don't know, but he was really, really inconsistent. So he will be my choice for the worst player of the season so far.
Okay. Hakeem, let's hear yours.
Yes. So for the best player of the season, just like Idris, I'm torn between Tammy Abraham and Kovacic. But I'll give it to Kovacic. Though in terms of productivity, when we look at stats, it's Tammy. But in terms of stats, it's Tammy. But in terms of the work rates, the ability to just adjust and adapt, and also while improving at the same time is Kovacic. So Kovacic is my top player for the season. My worst, it goes without saying, Uncle Willie. The reason you're a senior player, this is where you're supposed to, as I just left, the team, I think almost everyone was tipping you to be, now you're the leader, in terms of running that midfield, in terms of being that utility player to step in. And, it's terrible. And even when you go back beyond this season, when you go back and look at his stats, this is the man that scores for Chelsea once every 7 games. and you're an attacking midfielder, it's nonsense. So for me, the worst player is Uncle William.
Do you know?
Uncle William?
Actually, who even made me believe this is Hakeem, because the other night we had a conversation and we were looking at stats of players, and Hakeem brought up a stat that I never even thought about, because I was still struggling with how hot and cold certain players were, so-called senior players, hot, cold, why? And I now realized there was a generation of Chelsea players after the JT had left. I can remember when we talked about the Oscar, Willian, Hazard buy. There was a time we bought those guys. Josh, I don't know if you remember when we got those crop. They've been the most inconsistent bunch I've ever seen in a team. They will win you the league this season. They will go 10th next season. You're like, same coach, same what's happening. Next season, they will take you close to almost winning or win something else. Then the next season, it's almost like all or nothing bunch of players. And Willian is specifically one of those people that has been consistent all through. Willian's stats this season, as good as it sounds like he's been playing, is not much better than Alonso.
No, all time. Not even this season. All time.
It's
in
ridiculous.
Terms of, if we look at goals, if we look at goals and assists, Alonso, that everyone, Alonso that is supposed to be a defender, has better goal
stats
and assist stats than Uncle William.
Willian has always been known. Willian has always been known for his work rate, the way he drops back and helps, and runs for the ball and all that hustling things that he does. He hasn't always been known for his goal scoring prowess, right?
How about assist?
Alonso, on the other hand, is, as we all know, would be better suited. We've always been saying this. We're better suited for wing back position, and he has a good eye for the goal. So, I mean, it's like comparing apples to oranges, right? So, I think Willian is inconsistent. I agree with you guys, but this season, he hasn't really done that bad to me to merit that worst player status that you guys are.
Josh, you need to watch.
Josh, may I say a reason why I feel maybe, and it's a feeling thing again. It could be, as I like how Josh also said, apples and oranges, which I kind of agree with him. I think considering how we came into the season, nobody wanted that Chelsea job. We had the transfer ban. It was a weird situation to be in. We were looking forward to certain leaders. We just talked about JT and the fact that there was just some leadership we were used to, blue collar, Agbero style Chelsea. We didn't care we were going to win. And somehow with Willian, we started well. Then obviously at some point we discovered maybe we are struggling paying Willian and Pedro. They sacrificed Pedro. We were not sure where Giroud was. But even sometimes Willian would carry the ball forward, then it would kill the attack and stop. And you could actually see opportunities die, like immediately. And it's not once, not twice, it does it. And yes, you're right, it might not be technically or statistically the worst player, but the amount of expectation we have for Willian as leader, as number 10, as creativity, as he just fell flat. I mean, him asking for the balls to ask for 3 years. After this performance, I mean, you had to chuck him to last. I think. Sorry.
Let me jump. I'm running out of time, so I'll just jump in quickly and just say, I understand. It's all opinion. Right? It's all opinion based. My own, just looking at from outside looking in quickly. I think maybe I'm a bit slightly biased. It was a choice. I think best player for Chelsea I've seen as a neutral looking. It's been between, in my opinion, Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount. I like a lot. I think he has done very well. For a young player coming in, his performance was consistent beginning of the season. Then he picked up and dropped up, but consistently he has been hardworking. He has been trying to find passes. He has been bold, shooting. So I'm really impressed by Mason Mount. And I think, you guys have, I don't want to criticize any more players because I think you guys have, we have chosen has already called already. So there's no need to criticize anymore. So I think we can wrap it up here. I can take some of the conversations offline.
Ayo, you made us go and do our top 18. You didn't even ask us. Wasted effort. No, you asked us for top 11 now.
No, you mentioned top 18 though. You did. Everybody mentioned bench though.
Oh, okay.
That's top 18.
Yeah.
Bench. Yeah, it's bench.
Na night school
Yeah,
at
the
Kim,
bench.
no worry. Na night school lingo, we know.
Everybody mentioned bench. So that's top 18. And the bench is top 18.
I see.
This was fun, guys. I think like I said when I did Liverpool pod last week, to do at the end of the series, I'll do the most entertaining. So far, I would say you guys are kind of, you guys. Liverpool was very slightly serious-minded guys. This one, it was funny a little bit, but this one has been so much fun. I enjoyed doing this. Thanks for coming on, guys. All our social media platform addresses will be at the end of the pod. Follow us, engage with us, leave us comments.